Hello, everyone. How are you all tonight? Hello, Steve. Hi, Shauna. Hi, Mary. Mary and Steve. Shauna, I'm getting repeats coming up. Hi, Chris. How are you? Who else we got? Nicola. Hello. All right. Hi, Bridget. So, yeah, I think most of us are familiar with the way things work around here, but welcome along to another lesson. Please go ahead and ask all of your questions. I think we're all pretty used to doing that. It's really helpful to other people who are watching live, also especially to the people who are watching the replay. A couple of things you can do if you run into any technical difficulties, like you lose your sound or you can't see the video, something freezes. Firstly, just give it a few moments and see if it irons itself out, maybe about 30 seconds. If that doesn't work, then you can refresh your browser tab. That's a really good one. It solves so many issues. And if that fails, close the browser tab completely, go back to your original email invitation and reopen that again from there. Now, if all of that fails, there is somewhere you can click that will come through to me in the background and you can talk to me directly. So up in the right-hand corner there, you can see the LearnBridge Online logo. It says click here for support. That indeed does come through and you can just tell me what's going on and I will try and help you out. Okay, so let us start the recording. I'll just wait for my dog to stop itching. Hopefully that won't be recorded. Okay. Sorry, he does like a good itch, Shauna. Hi, Georges. How are you? Hello, everybody. Welcome along to another fantastic lesson here at LearnBridge Online with our teacher, Bridget Rampton. Thank you for being part of such a great community. All of your participation is what makes it the wonderful place that it is. So, without further ado, let us invite our wonderful teacher. Everything's wonderful tonight. Bridget up to the stage. She is an absolute superstar. I agree, Steve. Let's give her a warm welcome.
Oh, really nice. It should be the students who are getting a warm welcome. I mean, the students are completely superstars.
I know they are, aren't they?
Bridge. It really is. There's just so much to take on and to learn. So everyone is doing that and going through this kind of bridge journey. Like, well done, everyone. And it's lovely to see everyone improving.
Yes, it is. And it can be a little bit difficult at times. And you've just got to be, patient and stick with it and realize that it's just like everything in life. There's ups and downs. And
it really is. And totally. And to warn you, it never gets better. Like, just never, ever gets better. You always will be playing and you're always saying, oh, I can't believe I did that. No matter how good you are, you've got
to learn to love in a way, you've got to learn to love the pain.
I think so. And the thing I always say to myself, and I know I've said this before here, I just think bridge is a game of mistakes. That's what it is. And I will always make mistakes. It's impossible not to make mistakes. It's all about trying to make as few mistakes as possible.
I've heard you say that a number of times, and that really sticks with me. Sometimes when I'm playing, I think I just have to make the fewest mistakes tonight. I just have to make, got to be that person.
Be that person and forgive yourself as well. So sometimes you make a mistake and you just think, oh, I'm just such a loser. I can't believe I did that. I just feel so embarrassed. I feel so terrible. And then your game goes downwards, spiral down.
I know, the shame spiral. It's not helpful, like the one thing that I really love about bridge is that every hand can be like a new start. It's like New Year's with every hand, it's a fresh start. You can make a new resolution to do it all over again.
Yeah.
So, but I definitely beat myself up, but we've got to give ourselves a bit of grace.
Forgive yourself. And I love Mary's comment. One of my friends says it's like pajamas, tops and bottoms. That's great. I'm going to use that, Mary. I really like that. Before I say anything else, by the way, next week I'm going for another beating. I'm going to Iceland to play against some awesome players in Iceland. There's all the world-class players are turning up in Reykjavik, and my partner and I, we're going along, and we're going to really put ourselves out of our comfort zone and play against some of these amazing players. I'm so excited. But it means that next week's lesson is on Tuesday at the same time. So I'm here next week, but on Tuesday at the same time. So everyone just could pop that in their diaries. That would be amazing.
Sounds fantastic. And I hope you have a wonderful time. Are you going to trampoline while you're there? Any hiking?
No, I'm spending the entire time in Reykjavik in a dark room in a hotel. Basically, that's what I'm doing. Cambridge.
Yeah.
So I won't see anything. I'll get to walk around Reykjavik, but anyway, it'll be all good fun. So I can go through some of my mistakes and some of my things that I learned.
Yeah, that'll be really interesting. Yeah. We'd love to hear about it, I'm sure. All right, I'm going to let you get to it, but I will see you out the other side. So
brilliant. Okay.
Everybody. Don't forget I'm in the background if you need me. Click on that logo in the corner.
Brilliant. So today, let me just shrink me down here. I was going to talk a little bit about tactics at duplicate because it's so important. But before we do that, let's just have a quick look at a hand that Mary sent through to us. It's just interesting. I won't go too much into it, but I just want to talk about the bidding. Let me just share the screen. So I have to stop sharing this one and then share the other one. So Mary, does this look like your hand? This one here. I didn't quite have the hand for west and east, but I think it must have been something like this. There was this hand where Mary was playing. They were playing in north-south, and the opponents opened 3 diamonds against them. And Mary asked whether her partner should have overcalled in north. What do you think? What does everyone think? Who would overcall here in the north? Yeah, me too. I'm overcalling here as well. So you've only got 11 points, but you've just got this fantastic spade suit and you've got this void and diamonds. And when people open these 3-level preempts, they're trying to mess you up. They're really trying to get in your space. That's what they're trying to do. And you cannot let them bully you. So with a hand like this, you've just got to get involved. Here, though, when Mary was playing, I think her partner may have passed, and it came around to Mary. And Mary said, should she have bid 4 clubs? So who plays 4 clubs here as natural and who plays 4 clubs here as kind of a Michael's bid? I'm just interested. Because people often play this here as system. They don't play it as actual natural clubs because they want to be able to try and get a particular hand shape across. So here I would play 4 diamonds as, I think it's this. So 4 diamonds, if you bid 4 diamonds, that would be both majors, like 5-5 in the majors. And if you bid 4 clubs, that would be saying I have got clubs and a major as well, I think, in this particular situation. So I wouldn't play 4 clubs here as natural, which basically means that if your partner did pass in the north seat here and it came back round to south, south has to make a call about what to do. And I really like this tip that my teacher gave me, that when the opponents open 3 diamonds, place your partner with about 8 points. That's normally what they'll have. So imagine having 8 points in your partner's hand and then decide whether you want to do anything about it. So the bid that South could make here is 3 no trumps. They could punt 3 no trumps if they wanted to. And that would be a bit of a choice. You're a little bit light to do that really in the South seat, but some people would have punted 3 no trumps if their partner had passed, and some people would pass. But definitely in that North seat, that person should be overcalling. So that's just kind of an interesting hand. Hands in competition are the hardest to deal with, I find. I find that out of the mistakes that my partner and I specialize in, I think we probably specialize in when there's competition and bidding in competition. It's really difficult when your space has been taken up. You can't communicate properly with your partner, and just making the right decisions at the table can be tricky. And you have to kind of think through everything, think through what that could possibly have, what it could be mean without all that information between you and your partner. It puts a lot of pressure on, which is why, as Steve said, preempts really work. Would I have bid no trumps if my partner... I might have punted it. Yeah, Nicola, I might have punted it just because my clubs are so nice. I would, and you've got the diamond. It could go wrong. It could go terribly wrong, but I think I probably would. Probably just because I'm thinking, I'm a bit more of a risk taker than I should be. So that's just an honest answer rather than a practical answer with that one. But that's an interesting hand. But today I wanted to talk about some tactics in duplicate. So a lot of you play duplicate, I know. And it's really, really interesting to think sometimes about the difference between the way you should be doing things in duplicate and the way you should be doing things in a team match. So the reason I've got this, can everyone see, by the way, my title page, Tactics for Duplicate? The reason I've got Usain Bolt there in the front is basically because he's winning the race. So when you're playing in teams, you're not actually trying to win the race with each hand. You're just trying to lock in your game score and get the points. But when you're playing match points, you have to do better than everybody else. It's a really, really cutthroat kind of way of scoring. So I've popped in here. It completely changes the way that you play the game. So two main types of scoring are the match points and the teams. And like we said, teams is all about getting your points, cashing in your points, getting to game, just locking in your part scores and building them up. And match points is all about getting the best possible score. It actually reminds me of this joke, and I'm really sorry if you've heard this joke before, because there's nothing worse than hearing a joke twice. But is anyone, well, I'll tell the joke. If you've heard it before, let me know. So two people, they're in the jungle, two friends in the jungle, and they see a tiger coming towards them. And so this girl, she gets out her backpack and puts on her running shoes. And he says to her, "What are you doing? Like, we're never going to be able to outrun the tiger." And she just says, "I don't need to outrun the tiger. I just need to outrun you." And that's, to me, match points. That's what it's all about. So if you were playing teams, then together, you're both trying to get out. But if you're playing match points, you just have to beat the opponents. Oh, beer version. Okay. But I like that analogy. It just occurred to me when I was writing it. I was thinking, it's kind of like that joke. So the first thing that we're going to talk about, is some of you will be very familiar with this sort of thing. But like we say, your score only gains if your score is better than the scores of the other pairs. So sometimes bidding and making a slam might not be worth anything. I mean, normally, if you bid a slam, if you're bidding a slam and a duplicate, especially if the field's not very strong, you'll get a good score. But if you're playing against good opponents, and like when I'm playing in Iceland next week, no one is going to miss the slam. All the good players are going to get the slams. So that will be team scoring. But if it were playing in a duplicate scoring, I'd be very, very aware that no one was going to be bidding the slam. And just because I bid the slam did not mean I was going to get a good score. So if you bid a slam and someone gets more points than you, you could potentially get a bottom, which seems insane. But that could happen if you're playing match points. If you're playing teams, you just go, "Oh, tick, thanks very much. I got 980 points. I'm happy." So you wouldn't worry too much that somebody else got some more points. You'd think, 10 points, schmimp, whatever. You wouldn't worry too much about it. The other one that is, you might go down sometimes in the 3 no trumps and match points and get a top score, which just seems bizarre. If everyone else is going down 2 and you're going down 1, you could end up getting 100% for that board. So it's always worth thinking, I'm in a duplicate. What's going on? What are other people bidding? What's happening? And where should I be? So the first one I want to talk about, and actually Caroline and I yesterday did a video, so watch out for that video because you'll see one of the hands coming up. But the first one is that if you've got a choice of a strain of contract between playing in no trumps and between playing in an 8-card major fit, don't always just go for the 8-card major fit. And we do talk all the time about the 8-card major fit being superior, and it normally is. Like, normally you're better off playing in an 8-card major fit than in 3 no trumps. And that is normally if you're in this range of like 25 to about 29 points. And it's usually going to be better. It's going to make more times the 4 hearts or 4 spades than 3 no trumps, because you can get control back by using your trumps, and you can get some ruffs sometimes as well. So it's normally better. So I think 3 no trumps makes somewhere in the 50-something% of the time, and 4 hearts or 4 spades makes a lot when you've got 25 to 29 points between you. So you're normally better off playing in that magic 8-card major fit. I'm not going to explode Caroline. I'm going to give it away. I'm not exploding Caroline this time. She was too good. Someone said more explosions. But everything changes if you've suddenly got a whole bunch of points. If you are overflowing with points, everything changes. So if you're suddenly sitting there with more than 30 points, you know that you're not just going to have one stop on a suit. It's very likely you're going to have both suits covered. So suddenly the advantages of playing in 4 hearts or 4 spades with 30 points, because you wouldn't be wanting to go further than that, they're kind of like not so great anymore. And you're better off in a duplicate going for the contract that's going to score more, which could be no trumps. So that changes, and it's really worth bearing that in mind. We all get so excited about our major fits that we forget that maybe we should be thinking about playing in no trumps. So I'll quickly show you, and you'll watch out for this hand. You'll see it coming up, but let me just bring back and let me share the screen here. This was the hand here, so watch out for this one. So this was a weak no trump one, this one here. There was one no trump here. And if you were West and your partner opened one no trump, and here this was a 12 to 14 example, how many points have you got minimum? Minimum 33. And we all know 33 is a magic number for playing in a no trump slam. In a trump contract, it's totally different. It's a lot more about sort of shortages and things. But here you just know you've got tons of points. So with this sort of hand, I wouldn't even bother bidding 2 clubs, because if you start bidding 2 clubs, you can accidentally end up playing in 6 spades rather than playing in 6 no trumps, which is probably where you need to end up being. So here I would just think, look, we've got 33 points between the 2 hands. You're not necessarily completely mirrored. If you've got a 4-3-3-3 shape, you should always not investigate playing in a major. You should always bypass the 2 club Stayman bid. But with this particular hand, because you've got so many points, it just doesn't seem possible that you're not going to be doubly stopped everywhere. You've got these hearts, you've got the clubs, you've got the diamonds. So 6 no trumps is going to be a much better bid than a duplicate. So I'm just going to slap it down, because 6 no trumps, not vulnerable, scores 690, I think, isn't it? 690, and 6 hearts and 6 spades scores 680. It's all about that one little trick, that first trick, the 40 plus 30 plus 30, that first 40 for the no trump gives that extra 10 points. So that if everyone else is in 6 spades and you're in 6 no trumps, you'll get a top board. And if everyone's in 6 no trumps and you're in 6 spades, you'll get a bottom board. So I really kind of like that tip. If you've got 30 points or more, and as a place to play, you've got an option of no trumps or the suit, really think about playing in no trumps if you feel like it's a balanced hand opposite a balanced hand, because suits are going to be doubly stopped and it's going to score more, which is important for duplicate scoring. Let me just pop back to these slides here. The next question is, think hard about whether you should go for an over trick in a duplicate. So this totally depends on the situation that you find yourself in. So if you're in a normal contract, totally normal contract, you think the rest of the room is going to be in the same contract, and you think that it's more likely than not that going for the over trick will work, like just percentage-wise, then you should go for the over trick. Just statistically, if it looks like it's going to be 60, 70% likely it's going to work, then you should go for it and match points. Then if you don't go for it and everyone else goes for it and it makes, then you're potentially going to get a bottom board. So if it feels like it's likely to work, then you should go for it. You shouldn't be playing it safe for match points. But in teams, unless you're going to risk the contract going down, in teams, you just think, yeah, it could be that this will work and I'll get an extra trick, but I could put my whole game contract at risk by doing this. I need to lock in those values, and you wouldn't go for the over trick. Sometimes you land up in a good contract. So you might find that you end up playing in a really, really good contract. No one else in the room is in it. When the dummy goes down, you'll think, this is a good contract. We've done really well here. We've done a great job getting into this contract. If that's the situation, just think, we've got to a great place here. We should lock the score in rather than taking any risks. If we make this contract, we're already getting a really good score. Don't kind of throw it all away for a risk. So that's when you would think, that you would just play it safe. Steve said, would you do that even if West had a singleton, for example? So Steve was asking, I think about the last hand. I was thinking, so the rule is when it is an option to play in 6 no trumps. So 6 no trumps is kind of when you've got a balanced hand opposite a balanced hand normally. So I had a singleton, I'm much, much more scared. So sometimes, getting back to duplicate 2, sometimes you're in a bad contract. And you know that everybody else in the room is in a good contract, not a nice place to be. And then you kind of think, oh, this is just going to be bad. Like, I know that we're going to just get a bottom, even if I make my contract here, because everyone else is going to be in a better scoring contract. If that happens, it's really worth taking time, stop and thinking, and taking almost like an extreme risk to try and turn that bad score into a good score. And I've got a couple of examples coming up. So let's just switch to And Shauna says the trick is to realize when you are in that bad contract and when you are in a good contract. And she's completely right. It's just noticing it. Let's pull it over to this one here. Like, that's jumped twice. Just give me 1 second. I'm going to take you back to this one while I just set that up. Hold on a second. So that we get the right hand. Hold on one moment. I was clicking too hard. Okay, here we go. Take us back to the bridge base hand. There we go. Okay, this contract here. So you've opened, East has opened one club. South is going to pass very quickly and slowly, not trying to give away any body language at all that South is sitting there with a whole bunch of clubs. This one here, we are playing in either, let's just say we're playing in, let's say we're playing in 5-card majors here, but regardless, it's going to be similar pass. What would you do with this hand here, with the West hand? This is kind of an important point, actually. There's implications about this one. There's 2 bids that people would be thinking about making here. Yeah, 1 spade to me looks like a great bid. 1 spade just says, I've got 4 or more spades, I'm starting the conversation. What does 2 spades mean for people here? What is everyone play that as? You would never bid 1 no trump here because you would never, ever, ever deny a 4-card major, and you've got actually a 6-card major here. Always bid your suit at the 1 level if you can. Dustbin is called dustbin because there's no other bid you can make, the dustbin response. If you can make a bid, definitely make it. So for me, 2 spades is weak. It's like very weak. And some people do still play 2 spades as strong, but it's a little bit more unusual to play that now. Most people play weak jump responses. So for me, this would be weak, which here is kind of beneficial. This would be like a kind of 2-3 count through to a bad 8. So sort of like 2 or 3 through to about 7 with 6 spades. So it's a weak jump response for me. It's different if you play it as a strong hand because that would never be an option for you. But I quite like playing it as weak because what it means is if I do bid a spade here, and then this person's come in and bid 2 diamonds, this person now passed, and then this person came in and bid their spades. So if this person does come in and bid their spades again, which is to play and should be 6, then East kind of knows that their partner wasn't the weakest of the weak. If you play it that way, they know that their partner wasn't the pits. So they know that they had a hand that's weakish because you can pass the 2 spades and have got 6, but you weren't in that super weak zone. So that's one of the advantages of playing it that way. You can actually get across to your partner that you've got 6-card suit and a weak point count, but it's not super weak. It's not like the weakest of the weak situation. And here, what happened was East thought, oh, brilliant. They do come up a bit, Steve. They do come up a wee bit. Oh, the strong jump shifts. I mean, when they do come up, it's great because you can actually get your hand across. It's like all bids in bridge. You think, I wish I had that other one available to me today, but we've changed what we play. But perhaps weak ones do come up more often. But here they've decided to raise to 3 spades here. And then it's gone 4 spades. They've made an opening lead. And then West thinks, oh, look, this is great. Like we're in a really, really good contract here. This is fantastic. We're probably going to make 4 spades here. And West should be thinking here, I'm not going to do anything dumb. I'm just going to play this super carefully and just cash my tricks. So you're going to lose these 2 diamonds. And then when they play another one, you're going to ruff. So it doesn't matter too much which one you ruff with here. And after you've done that, I would simply be doing this, chucking away the diamond. And then I would be playing the spade, ruffing a club, playing out the spades, and then playing a heart. The key here is, I hope that wasn't too fast for you, sorry. What I would do now is just play it safely. Like play the jack, ruff a club, play out the spades, and then play a heart, lose to the ace, and we're away. What would be a mistake is if you played a heart now at this position here once you won it. Some people would be thinking, maybe I'm just going to play a heart now, set up the heart suit in case something sort of nasty happens with the trump. But it would be a mistake. Like if you did play a heart now, it's a disaster. Because what are they going to do? They're going to do this, right? Then you're forced to ruff here. And now that 10 of spades in North's hand gets promoted. So this is a kind of example of just playing it super safe. When you get into a good contract, you know that you've done really well to be there. Just take the safest line that you can possibly imagine. Okay, let's try another hand. Okay, I like this one because this is kind of similar to the one we were talking about before. Here, can everybody see the right hand? You've got a long heart suit with East. So this time they're opening 2 no trumps. And this person is going to transfer. Three hearts. This person now is kind of interested. They're thinking this is 8, 9, 10, 11 points. It's quite possible that they haven't got 33 points between the 2 hands. Their partner might have a 20 count. I mean, some people might just slap down 6 no trumps here, but you could easily be missing the ace and the king. 2 aces. I mean, someone yesterday at a bridge club did that. They just slapped down 6 no trumps next to me, and I had an ace and a king on lead. It's like, oh, here's my double card. Boom, boom. And he was hoping for split aces that we wouldn't work it out, but unfortunately it wasn't right for him. But here, you know, if you're bidding conservatively, a lot of people here play that at this particular sequence, and actually even sometimes over a no trump, but I can talk 1 no trump, they play that 3 spades here is like slammy. You're saying I'm slammy in the heart suit. So if you come in and bid the other major here, that's the way of saying you're slammy. And the reason that is slammy and not 4 no trumps, like 4 no trumps here should be quantitative. That should be saying, I'm interested in no trumps. Are you high or low in your range? And that's because you don't know for sure that your partner has got 2. As you can see, West doesn't really care about that because West knows they've got an 8 card. East knows that they've got an 8 card major fit. But West doesn't know that East knows that they've got an 8 card major fit. So you have to have 4 no trumps available for the sort of auctions where East has got 5 hearts and West has got 2 hearts, and you actually want to play in 6 no trumps, and you need to invite to game in no trumps. So it has to be quantitative there. And for that reason, people come up with system to try and lock in the major. So here they locked in the major by bidding 3 spades. Then this person thinks, my partner is slammy with hearts. My partner's slammy with hearts, which is wonderful. And they've got this lovely stuff going on. So they just bid 4 no trumps, which is now Roman key card Blackwood because you've locked in the hearts by bidding slammy with hearts. This person comes back in and bids, I have got 1, 2, and the queen of trumps. So what's the answer for Roman key card Blackwood if you've got 2 and the queen? 5 spades. I've got 2 and the queen. Okay, so now what should West bid? West's on the ball. How many tricks does West know that they've got? Just actually physically count the tricks. It looks like 12, doesn't it? Because you've got the 2 spades, 1, 2. You know you're going to have 6 heart tricks. You know your partner has got the ace of clubs. So it's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You've got 1 definite diamond trick, 11, and then you've got 1 slow burner diamond trick. You're going to make one of the other ones regardless of whether that finesse makes or not. So you know that you've definitely got 12 tricks here. So what should you be bidding now? Got 12 tricks, 6 no trumps. Yeah, cool. So you know 6 hearts is going to make, but you also know 6 trumps is going to make because you can actually visualize the tricks. You know the tricks. You know that you've got 2 stops in the clubs. You know you've got 2 stops in the spades. And you know that you've got 6 heart tricks. And it's a better score, as Shauna says. So you're going to do a little bit better if you bid 6 no trumps than if you bid 6 hearts. If you're playing in a team match, kind of irrelevant. But if you're playing in a duplicate, that is the difference between not vulnerable between 990 and 980. And so that could give you that extra smidge, which will give you a top board. So just stopping and thinking about the tricks is really important here. Bidding 6 hearts would be a mistake. But let's bid 6 hearts because everyone falls asleep at the table sometimes. And then we're going to talk about, if you are in this contract, how you're going to play it. So on the lead, they're probably going to lead the Jack of Hearts. So this is where you really have to put your thinking caps on here. So you've ended up playing in 6 hearts. How is everybody who's playing in 6 no trumps going to play this hand? So Steve said, how does West know that they don't have a club loser? Because when they did Roman key card Blackwood, their partner came back in and said they had 2 aces with the queen. So they know fact that their partner's got the ace of clubs and the queen of hearts. So they've got the king of clubs, so they know their partner's got the ace. So here, you need to be thinking, as soon as this came down, West would be thinking, oh no, I just forgot. I forgot about that whole business of playing in 6 no trumps. We've ended up playing in 6 hearts rather than 6 no trumps. We're going to get a bottom. That's what West is going to be thinking. We're going to be getting a bottom board here, unless I can turn this bad situation into a good situation somehow. So if you were playing in no trumps, how is this person going to play? The person who is the declarer. What are they going to do to play it? Yeah, you have to go for an over trick. So someone's picked it. You can't afford to lose anything. So if you go for an over trick, that's going to rectify the entire situation. And you basically have to go play it differently from the way the 6 no trump person's going to play it. If you play it the same way as the 6 no trump person plays it, you're going to get exactly the same tricks. So you'll be looking at this hand thinking, the no trump person is going to play out all the hearts, the spades, and they're going to finesse the diamond. And regardless of whether the diamond wins or not, everyone is going to be in the same place. So if I play it the same way as the no trump person plays it, if I finesse that diamond and play it the same way as the no trump person plays it, I'm going to get the same number of tricks as the no trump person, but a worse score. So what's the key here? So Shauna and I think Steve have both said you need to go for the over trick. How can you make the over trick in a different way? How can you play it differently here? Okay, people are getting it. This is great. So you need to finesse the diamonds in a different way. You need to like approach the hand completely differently. So you would start by winning it. Might even actually, I'm going to win it in the other hand. And then you are going to play out the trumps. And then you're going to think, the only way that the 6 no trump person can finesse this diamonds is by playing up towards the queen jack. But you've got a different available option for you because you're playing in a trump contract. And when you're playing in a trump contract, you've got 2 different ways of finessing here. You can finesse by playing up towards the queen, the normal way that the no trump person is going to do it. Or you can actually do a roughing finesse. That's the beauty of being in a trump contract, is you can sometimes do a roughing finesse. So you do this. You play up towards the ace. You play the king. What are you going to throw away on the king? You can chuck away a diamond. And now you play your ace. Play your queen. Think, please, please, please let them have the king. And you rough it. We've forgotten to get our entries right. Classic mistake. Hold on. We need to go back. Hold on a second. If they cover it, we're stuffed. So at which point do we need to go back to? This one. Okay. And that would be all over. Your awesome plan would have just crashed and burned because you'd got your entries wrong. So we've got to keep this 8. Okay, so we're going up. Now we're starting again. Go across. Play this lovely king. Chuck away that diamond. Play the ace. Because they covered, that entry is so important to us. So make sure we rough with this one. Crossover. Chuck away that club. And happy days. You've made it. You've made the extra trick. And then suddenly you're getting the over trick. So you've gone from getting 680 to another 30 points, which is 710, and they're getting 690. So you will actually get your top board. And I love that logic. I love that way of thinking. It's so easy not to go through that mental process and to think, oh no, in a bad contract, we should never have been in this contract. And then just to start playing it out and playing it in exactly the same way as a 6-no trump person and taking that finesse with the diamonds in the normal way. It's so easy to do that. You've got to think, depends on your field, of course, right? Like it does depend where you are. If you really think that you're playing in a weak field with weak people and nobody is going to be, not everyone in the room is bidding 6-no trumps, it's not quite such a concern because you're probably going to get a good score anyway for six hearts. But even so, it's still equal chances which way the finesse is going to be. So you might as well take the finesse the other way because it's not like you're putting your contract at risk to do it. So you probably would do it anyway. But Mary says it's a new idea. Yeah, and it's a cool idea, isn't it? And it's, again, just taking the time at the table to think about it. And I love that hand. I think it's a cool one. Okay, let's have a think about another duplicate tactic. Duplicate tactic number 3, play takeout doubles at the 4 level for preempts. And actually, this is probably something that is a team thing as well. So who plays at takeout doubles at the 4 level preempts takeouts? Doubles at 4 level pre-levs are takeout rather than penalties. Who plays that? Okay, everyone's playing that as well. That's cool. It used to be much more common as playing it as penalties. And I still often hear people say, oh, like low level, below sort of game level, we play it as takeout. But once it gets to game level, we don't play it as takeout anymore. But it does seem to be that pretty much everybody now plays them as takeout now at the 4 level because you're just much more likely to pick up the sort of hand that has your own suit rather than a hand that's got length in the opponent's suit. Just have a quick look at those 2 hands and we'll talk about how they would have played. Hold on a second. So this person here has jumped in and opened 4 hearts, which is always fun to open 4 hearts. Okay, so you've got 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 points. Are you going to double? Yeah, same. You have to double. And it feels a little bit scary because you think, I've only got an opening hand. There's nothing amazing, but they've just taken away all your bidding space, literally all of it. Like, it's terrible bullying behavior. I'm even doing it vulnerable. You just have to get involved here. You've got the shortage. You have to double. And then your partner's going to do what? Four spades. Yeah, so you've got yourself to 4 spades. Cool. And this one here, we've opened 4 hearts again. What are you going to do? Double again. Pass. And what would you do with the north hand? Pass, says Chris. Yeah, me too. Yep, you've got them. You've got them. Pass. Cool. And you're going to get, what are you going to get them off? If you can quickly get your diamond tricks in. And then you're going to get, you're going to get 2 hearts and 3 diamonds. And you're going to get them off. Cool. Okay, back to duplicate tips again. Let's have a look where we are. Oh, duplicate tip 4. And again, people do this in team matches a bit, but it's just more important for duplicate. Is this idea of 4-4 fits, playing better than 5-3 fits. Who's come across that idea? Because I mentioned that to a group of students I have the other day, and I said, who's familiar with this? And none of them were. And I was quite surprised because it's quite a fundamental sort of bridge, fundamental bridge idea. Chris is, yeah. So 4-4 fits tend to be better than 5-3 fits. Yeah, and Shauna said, yes, any hand can be the master. That's right. It's because it's sort of flexible. If you're in a 4-4 fit, you've got 2 options of which hand is going to be the roughing hand, which is really valuable. And the other awesome thing is that you've got a long suit. That 5-3 fit can be used to throw away losers in the other hand. So if you do have a choice between the 4-4 fit and the 5-3 fit, go for the 4-4 fit. I think it's like, I've read somewhere, 68% better normally to go to the 4-4 fit. Yeah, and Glenn said you can establish the 5 cards. So yeah, exactly. So it tends to be better. The problem is it's a little more risky as well. So even though it does tend to be better, it is a little bit more risky being in a 4-4 fit because it's much, much harder to cope with the 4-1 split than it is in a 5-3 fit. If you're in a 5-3 fit, it's not quite so terrifying having a 4-1 split because you've always got more trumps than the person with 4. Whereas when you're in a 4-4 fit, and we all know this, it's really horrible when you get the 4-4-4-1 break. So that's the downside of it. But in a match points game, you're thinking it's much more likely to be of benefit. Like, so you should be playing in these 4-4 fits rather than in a 5-3 fit. There's whole books about this, by the way. I'll take you across to here. And I thought actually it's kind of good opportunity to talk about a particular bit as well. Please don't double jump. Great, hasn't double jumped. Okay, so I think we're playing a strong no trump on this one. So they are opening 1 no trump here. So West won't be overcalling here. Most people play 2 clubs here as multi-landy. So 2 clubs or landy would be saying both majors. So they pass. So has anyone here heard of the bit called Smolin or Schmolin? Smollen. Does anyone play Smolin? I really like Smolin, especially if you're playing strong no trumps. George has, Chris hasn't. Sounds like a Danish word for snow. I thought they had 500 words for snow, or is that the Eskimos? Actually, you can't say Eskimo anymore, apparently. Yep. So Rosemary hasn't heard of it. Would you like me to just quickly run through what Smolin is? It's kind of it's just good to hear about these things sometimes, even if you don't want to play them yourselves, because Inuit. Yeah, thanks, Shauna. Yeah, because when it comes up, it means that you'll be familiar and you'll see what people are doing. So Smolin is when you have got 5-4 in the majors and you're in a game force. So for this reason that you really want to play in your 4-4 fit and don't want to miss a 5-3 fit even if you don't have the 4-4 fit, it can be really useful to describe this hand to your partner. So you start by bidding 2 clubs here. And if your partner doesn't bid the suit that you've got, so if they bid 2 hearts, then like happy days, right? You just go 4 hearts. So you know you've got your major fit. But if they come back and bid 2 diamonds, then you bid the suit that you have 4 in, not the suit that you've got 5 in. You bid the suit that you've got 4 in. So even though you know fact that you don't have an 8-card fit in the major now, in hearts, I mean, sorry, you know fact you don't have an 8-card fit in hearts because your partner didn't bid 2 hearts. The fact that you've bid this way says to your, sorry, you have to jump. Otherwise they're going to think that's where you have to jump to the 3 level, make this bid at the 3 level. And then your partner thinks, okay, so that means they've made a Schmolin bid. So they've actually started with 5 spades and 4 hearts. Yeah. And so because they've started with 5 spades and 4 hearts, it means this person would correct to 4 spades if they didn't have the 4 hearts originally. Does that make sense, or have I gone through that a bit quickly? I'll go through it one more time. So you bid 2 clubs with 5-4 game-forcing hands. And they have to be game-forcing hands because it means that if they reply 2 diamonds, your next bid is going to be at the 3 level. So the major that you bid second is going to be at the 3 level. So if they did come back, So imagine you're north and you can't see the south hand. It's kind of related to puppet statement in a funny way. Yeah, but you bid. So if you hear a 2 diamond response to your partner from your partner, you know now from the north point of view that you don't have an 8 card fit in hearts, but you're still holding out hope, aren't you? You're still thinking maybe we've got a 5-3 fit in the spade suit. So now you jump to 3 hearts. And if you've come to this agreement, that's saying I've got 5 spades and 4 hearts. You know that your partner hasn't got the heart fit, but you want to show the spades. So you jump here saying I'm game forcing with 5 spades and 4 hearts, and then your partner would correct. So it's kind of a cool little bit of system. It's not so important over a weak no trump because a lot of it's about right side in the contract. If you don't play that, the way you have to play this instead is to start by transferring. So you start by transferring. So Chris says, how does spades show no 4 card major? The 2 diamonds would show no 4 card major at the very beginning. So when the no trump person bids 2 diamonds, they're saying I don't have any 4 card major, but you still don't know that they don't have a 5 card major. We can do some more work on Smolin another time, but it's just a good way of getting game forcing hands with a 5-4 shape across, particularly for 1 no trump holdings. And it means that the good strong hand is always the person bidding it as well. And you can also play it over 2 no trumps. And it's all about just that major coming in at the 3 level. I'm not sure it's got 2 L's, Sean. It might be 1 L. So you must be a 5-4 shape in the majors, and you bid the major. If you hear a negative response from your partner, you bid the major that you've only got 4 in at the 3 level. But here, if you don't play a Smolin or Schmolin, depending on how you pronounce it, you would start with a transfer, 2 hearts, and then your partner would bid 2 spades. There probably is a Mrs. or Mrs. Schmolin. It sounds like it would be, and like someone mentioned, it sounds kind of Northern European. And then this person here, if you're playing traditional methods, you would now bid 3 hearts to show that you had a 5-4 shape. That would be the traditional way of showing it. And then you would end up being the declarer. Whereas if you played Smolin, your partner would be the declarer first. But so here you end up playing bidding 3 hearts. And sorry, undo. What should South do now? So be given, if this is normal sort of bidding, they don't play Smolin, they know that they've got 5 and they've got 4. Yeah, they should bid 4 hearts. Oh, thanks, Steve. Steve's put a link in. Brilliant. So 4 spades, 5-3 fit, or should you be going for the 4-4 fit? I mean, let's do it both ways. Let's play it both ways. Let's just so you can really see. So let's say they're 4 spades. How many tricks are they going to make? Like, count the tricks. Count your winners and your losers. Got 5 spades probably. 4 hearts probably. 9. 5, 4, 2, 2. So it's nice. You're going to make a trick. But so you're going to win the ace. Going to play out the trumps. Going to draw that last trump. Now you're going to play out your heart winners. And because you've got 4-4 in the hearts, you can't use them to discard anything anywhere. It's just a matter of cashing your hearts out. And then you're going to take your ace. And then you're going to claim your 2 more tricks. Okay, now let's look at how it plays if you're playing in the 4-4 fit. I think I put this in twice with a bit of luck. Yes. Okay, so we're going to play 1 no trump, playing traditional methods, 2 hearts, 2 spades, 3 hearts, which is game forcing with 5-4. Oh, it looks like there was an actual person called Smolin. And then you now end up playing in 4 hearts. The partner has said nothing. You're probably going to lead a diamond, aren't you? Okay. Got the double. Everyone see the double dummy? But I'm going to play it out just so everyone is convinced. So you're going to take the ace. And you'll see why Shauna's point works. So now you're going to play your trumps out. And come up here. And now for your spade suit, this lovely 5-3 suit, which hopefully can be used for discards. Jump up here. And now that spade suit's going to provide 2 discards. So let's just chuck away something here. And again. So suddenly you're getting a ruff. So that heart contract, instead of giving you 4 hearts, has given you 5 hearts. Sorry, not the heart contract. The heart, I'm not explaining it very well. The hearts are giving you 5 hearts rather than 4 hearts. If you're playing in spades, the heart tricks are only giving you 4. You can only make as many hearts as you've got length in your longest, which is 4. But because you can now use one of them for ruffing, yeah, you've made that extra trick. And in duplicate, that extra trick is everything. So that extra 30 points is fantastic if you're playing in a duplicate. So just remember, and look into playing Smolin, especially if you are a strong no trump player. One of the big advantages, like I said, for playing Smolin is the right hand actually is the person that gets to be the declarer. I think Mary's coming in with a question here. Let's see if we can get another tip in. Tip 5. Okay. So this is kind of a sort of protective seat bidding point that when you're playing in a match point. So Zia, one of my favorite bridge heroes, Zia Mahmood, he has this phrase, don't mess around in part scores in team matches. So in team matches, don't get really excited about preventing them playing in part scores in quite the same way, because it's kind of like, yeah, they might make it, you might make it. Kind of like, don't mess around in the part score. Don't take huge risks in part scores. But it's a little bit different in match points because teams tend to be less aggressive on sacrificing. Not necessarily Mary, because it's all about working out how many points they're getting. Like if you can stop them getting their game score and you think that you can sacrifice and go down for fewer points, then you still want to get that money, basically. But it just totally depends on the particular hands, I guess, for that question. But in this situation, and we see this quite a bit, so you've got West bidding diamonds, East bidding spades, and West coming back in and bidding 2 clubs. Then we've got a two diamond bid by East, which is weak suit preference. So they're basically saying, look, you've offered me 2 suits, West. I know you've got at least 5 diamonds. I know you've got at least 4 clubs, but out of those 2 suits, I prefer diamonds, this weak suit preference situation. I'd really like quite soon to have a good look at some of the weak suit preference situations, because I know some people get a bit muddled about them. So that's simply saying I prefer the diamonds to their clubs. They're sort of expecting their partner to probably pass that. This West hand is only ever raising one of these weak suit preference situations if they're very, very high, like the sort of hand that was almost good enough to jump to 3 clubs. Jumping to 3 clubs is game forcing, like that's like a 19 count or a very good 18. So that 2 club bid normally says I've got anywhere between about 12 and about 18 points. Normally your partner's going to be at the lower end, just because of that bell-shaped curve. They're going to be at the lower end and more towards the 12-point range rather than that high point range. Occasionally you might hit your partner with a really strong hand and they might make another move even over your weak suit preference, but normally they don't. So because they normally don't, South kind of wants to come in here if South can, because it looks like that contract is probably going to get sold out in 2 diamonds, and you don't really want the opponents to be playing in 2 diamonds if you can, in match points in particular. So here they're going to come in and bid, even though they probably wouldn't have come in and bid the first time with that 5-3-3-2 shape. They pass the first time, but then the second time they think, let's come in. So let's just have a look. Let's have a look at that hand. See if I can bring the actual hand up. So they've got a very flat 12 count. If I were playing Echo, I might even open this bid 1 no trump here just to get my point count across and just mess with the opponents a wee bit, stop them finding a major. But they've opened a diamond. Partners come back in and bid a spade. This person's passed because they're just very balanced. Then this person has bid 2 clubs. This person's saying, thanks for that information. I can't bid 2 spades. So if this person bids two spades here, what does that show? If they do come in and bid 2 spades there, what would you be expecting from your partner? Yeah, 6 spades. So that's basically saying, thank you for telling me that you've got 5 diamonds and 4 clubs. I'm weak. I don't fancy playing in either of those. So I'm going to bid, offer my own spade suit as a part score contract to play in. So that should always be 6 here in this particular auction. You're basically saying, don't like diamonds, don't like clubs, but I have got my own 6-card spade suit. This person would know that this person's got 5-4 shape, probably got 5-4-2-2 or 5-4-3-1. So they're sort of hoping it's the 5-4-2-2 and they're going to end up in an 8-card fish or spades, or even if it's the 6-1's not terrible. So that's basically saying I've got 6 if they come back and do that. But here they are basically saying, okay, at least we're in a 5-3 fit and diamonds. That's not terrible. Never bid 2 no trumps with these hands. Some people think, oh, maybe I'm just going to offer 2 no trumps. They might have, say, that king of diamonds in the heart suit. But if you bid 2 no trumps here, you're offering a big, probably like an 11 count, 11, 12 count. So don't make that mistake. I see that quite a lot. This is just a weak suit preference situation where you're saying, I prefer diamonds out of those 2. This person thinks, eek, I better get involved now because they're going to pass this out in 2 diamonds. I can see where this is going. So they bid 2 hearts, come in and kind of protect in this situation, and then pass, pass, pass. And do they make 2 diamonds? I think they do easily, don't they? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. So they would have made 2 diamonds here, which would have given them their 50 plus their 20 plus their 20. And you guys are making your 2 hearts here. So you don't want them to get that score when you could get your score. You don't want to get a bottom here by not becoming involved in a duplicate setting. Okay. And maybe we could even do one last one. Quickly pop across to here. The last tip I got was sort of a similar idea in a funny way. Like if you are in the 4th seat after a transfer, so it's gone 1 no trump, the opponents have transferred, then they've bid 2 spades and it comes back round to you and it's about to be sold out in 2 spades. In that situation, in a duplicate, if you're not vulnerable in particular, if you're vulnerable, I'm much more scared. But I stretch to become involved in this situation in a duplicate because you know that they could be very weak. You know your partner could have something, if they opened a weak no trump, it's so preemptive, a weak no trump in particular. It can really stop you and your partner bidding and you could have the majority of the points. But in this situation, make a takeout double, perhaps if you've got a shortage in spades. And sometimes you're going to be bidding three of a suit, even with only 5 of them, just because you know that they could have stolen that contract from you and end up playing in 2 spades, and they kind of get it. They get it. Whereas maybe you should be protecting. If you're playing a strong no trump, yeah, I still probably would in a duplicate if I'm not vulnerable. Yeah, I still would come in. I think so. Yeah, but weak no trump is particularly nasty sometimes to play against because they just steal those contracts for you so often. That's the best thing about Echo, the weak no trump, is it's just such a preemptive thing. Just really, really sort of gets involved and messes everything up. Okay, so we have covered quite a lot of duplicate tips today. I hope everyone has got their favorite tip. I think my favorite tip out of all of them is that one where we were playing in 6 hearts instead of 6 no trumps, and you've got to put your brain into how do we turn this disaster situation into a positive situation. I like that way of thinking. Like this is a disaster. We've got to turn this around somehow. Maybe we just go for the overtrick in a way that's just not an option for the 6 No Trump person. It was lovely to see everyone. And remember, next week is Tuesday. I would love it if you can.
Tuesday.
Yeah, Tuesday. Wake up in time to join us on Tuesday. Pleased it was a brain twister. Keep sending me your questions.
Yeah, there was lots there as well, like especially things like the, doubling on the 4-level preempt. Yeah, there was quite a lot to digest. I feel like I need to watch that lesson again.
It's always good to watch again.
Absolutely. All right, everybody, thank you very much. Like Bridget said, just remember that next week it's a day earlier, same time. And
2 days earlier, Tuesday.
Oh, two days earlier, of course, yes. And otherwise, we will see you all next week, hopefully.
Yeah.
And enjoy your time in Iceland. Good luck with your bridge playing.
Yes, well, I'll see you before then. I'm going to Iceland on the Wednesday after. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. All right.
And then that's when the lesson's going to be on my stuff ups.
That'll be great. That'll be really interesting.
All right.
We're looking forward to that. All right, everybody. Enjoy
See you
your
all
week.
later. Bye.
Bye.